Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Automation Testing Insider. So this is part 18 of Selenium Framework Development series from scratch, and today we are going to talk about how can we set up database testing or how we are going to achieve database testing in our framework. So in the previous part we talked about how can we set up Orange HRM application in our local environment. So the previous part is mandatory to achieve the database because I have shown you like how to set up the database and how to access the Orange HRM application in local environment. So that is mandatory to go about the database testing so that we can have the access to the database and we can easily run our application on our local environment. So today we'll focus on database testing because the environment is already set up and we'll achieve the database testing in our framework. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about what is database testing in Selenium, why is database testing is important, types of database validation in Selenium, right? And at last I'll talk about what are the different steps which we are going to perform to achieve this, like database testing, how we are going to implement database testing in our framework. So I'll show you step by step practically as well. So let's have a look at the first topic. So what is database testing in Selenium? So in simple words, I have written the simple definition over here. Database testing in Selenium ensures that the data displayed on the web. So it's not about like Selenium, but this is general definition, like what is database testing in simple words. So database testing in Selenium ensures that the data displayed on the web application UI matches the actual data stored in the database. Okay, so whatever you see on the UI part, UI, that should match with the database. Whatever data we have in the database, that should reflect on the UI. It validates data integrity, consistency, correctness by querying the database directly and comparing result with the UI data. So this is the simple definition, right? Like whatever data we have in the database, that should reflect in the UI. So why is database testing is important? So ensures data accuracy between UI and DB, which we discussed. So data accurate data should be displayed on the UI. Verifies data integrity after UI transactions, right? So there should be proper integration between the database and the UI guys, and helps in detecting data corruption and inconsistency. So there should not be any inconsistencies with the data when we talk about the database testing. So easily we can, when we perform the database testing, we can easily detect those kind of data like corrupted data or inconsistent data. Automates data validation for faster execution and better test coverage. What are the different types of validation we perform as part of Selenium testing? So data consistency check, right? So ensures the UI reflects the correct data stored in the database. That is the basic thing which we perform. CRUD operation we perform, like verify, create, read, update and delete operations work as expected or not. So we have different queries, right? How to create the data, how to read the data, how to update it, and how to delete the data. So basically we perform the CRUD operation to check all the validations are properly happening or not. And then UI DB synchronization confirm that the updates in the UI are reflected in the database, and when we update the database, then it should reflect on the UI. So we should check the synchronization between UI and database as well. And lastly, data integrity checks. So validate different keys like primary key, foreign keys, and constraints are enforced or not, right? So these are the different validations which we perform as part of database validation in Selenium. Now what are the different implementation steps which we are going to take to achieve this database testing? So this is the first step which we have already done, like setting up the Orange HRM in our local environment. In the previous video we have done that. We need to add JDBC dependency. We are going to use this JDBC API guys, Java Database Connectivity API, right? So we have to add this in our framework, in our pom.xml. Another one would be like we'll talk about what is the database scenario we are going to cover as part of this framework, database test case scenario, and database configuration and implementing database connectivity. So basically we need to have one utility class where we can make the connection, database connection, and we can do the query as well to get the results from the database. So we'll create one class called db connection, or you can give any name, database connectivity or anything, right? Any proper name. And then we have implementing page classes for UI verification. So maybe we need to slightly make some changes based on the what data we are verifying on the UI. So we'll update our page class as well. And implementing DB verification test. So we'll create one test in the test classes to check the database verification and test execution and validation, right? So at last we will run the script and we'll see whether it is working perfectly fine or not, right? So this is what we are going to do, so step by step, right? So let me take you to my project. Yeah, so this is our project, guys, Orange HRM project. And let me first do, what is the first step? We need to add this one is done already, and we have to add the JDBC dependency. So we'll open the pom.xml. So here we'll add JDBC dependency. Connector Maven. So we'll go to Maven site. So the first one is the Maven repository site. So we'll open it over here. And what is this one? MySQL connector Java. So we need MySQL -connector -j, not Java. So we need these guys, MySQL connector -j. So we can use this one. This is on 9.2.0 we can use, or 9.1.0 is a stable one, so we can use either of them. So let's use this one. So copy this one and simply we'll put inside our pom.xml. Control Shift F and save it so that it will download all the jar files. So this is done, guys. And what we'll do, the next step, let's talk about the DB test case scenario, right? So last time we have set up the Orange HRM locally. So for that, so we need to start XAMPP control panel. And what we'll do, we have to start this Apache application and MySQL database. So you can see both are running, up and running, and we should be able to access the local Orange HRM application. So localhost /Orange HRM. So you can see we are able to access. So still it is logged in. So let me log out, and you can see the login page like this, right? And right now the site, the demo site is also working fine, guys. So Orange HRM like this. This is the demo site which we have, right? We have written all the other test cases, and this is our local environment. So here you can see like username and password is given over here, and but we cannot perform the database testing using this one, right? This application, because we don't have access to their database. However, since we have already set up this locally, so we can easily perform the database testing over here. So let me show you, let me log in, what the database scenario which we are going to cover. So enter username and password, and here you will see, and just click on this PIM tab where you will get all the employees, right? And you can add new employee using this button as well. And here you can see we have already added few employees. Okay, so what we'll do, our scenario would be like I'll put the name over here and search it, and we'll get the result at bottom. So here we'll get like Hitendra Verma, right? First name, middle name, and last name. And here is the employee ID. So we'll verify with the database whether the value displayed on the UI is correct or not. Now let me show you the database as well. like how we are going to perform the, like how we write the query and how to get the data from the database. So let me close this for now. And what we'll do, how to access the database. So here MySQL, and here you can see one button called admin. So click on that. So you'll be able to access this localhost / php myadmin database, right? So here you can see the database which we have created, Orange HRM. So click on that, which I have shown in the previous video. And when I select this Orange HRM, so here you'll see all the tables over here. All the tables are listed down over here. So the employee table, here we have the employee table HS_HR_employee. This is the table. And here you can see, guys, all the values are displayed over here, all the columns, like all the employees. Now let me write one query, quick query. So simply you can click on this SQL, so that you'll get this editor, and let's write one query. Select employee first name, employee middle name, employee last name from HS/HR employee, right? And where we'll put where condition, employee ID is equal to, let's say, 1. So simply click on this go, you'll see the results over here. So this is our query, guys, and here you'll see the employee Hitendra Verma, right? Suppose you want some other employee, let's say you want, let's say this one, employee ID 3 Robinson you want. So what we'll do, we click on this edit, and instead of 1 we'll put employee ID 3 and simply click on go. So you'll get the employee ID like 3 Robinson, right? So this is how you can write the query and you get the result from the database. So this is what we are going to achieve. Like we'll write the query in our script to, we have to create the database connection, right? And to access the database, and later on we'll write the query to get the data from the database, and we'll write one test case to make sure whatever data we are getting from the database is matching with the UI. So that is our scenario. So this is our database case scenario. Now if we talk about the next step, database configuration and implementing database connectivity. So we have to have we'll create one class called database connection. Okay, so let me go back to the Orange HRM project, and I'll go to srcm in Java, and here we have the utilities package. Simply what we'll do, I'll create one class over here, let's say db connection. You can give any name, meaningful name. Click on finish. And here what do we need, guys? To make the database connection, we need 3 things, like database URL, and we need database username and password, right? So what we'll do, we'll create 3 variables over here: private, static, so it belongs to the class, right? So we'll make it static, and final, so that will be kind of constant, the value will not be changed, string, and db URL. And what is the db URL which we are going to what is the URL we have? JDBC colon mysql colon / localhost colon 3306. You can see the port over here, 3306, the one which we are using, right? And / orange HRM, the database name, Orange HRM. So this is how you need to provide the URL, the database URL: JDBC colon mysql colon / localhost colon 3306 Orange HRM. And we'll write another variable, public static final string db username db username. And what is our username? Root is our username, guys. And let's write another one, public static final string db password. Password is blank basically. So when we have set up this local environment, so at that time we have given the username as root and we have given the password is blank. So that's why we are able to access directly without entering the, if you click on this admin, we are able to access without entering the password. So we don't have any password in this database, we don't set it, right? So what we'll do now, next thing is we need to create one method, public static and void get db connection, right? To make the connection, we'll create one method called get db connection, and inside that what we need to do, let's put system.out.println, and here we'll write starting db connection. We can write a statement like this, correct? And to make the connection, guys, what we'll do, we need to, in the driver manager class, we have to set the driver, the JDBC driver on driver manager class. So what the method we have, get connection over here. So here we need to provide the driver manager dot get connection. We have to provide three things: the URL and db username, comma db password to make the connection, right? And what we'll do, we have to add throws declaration and surround with try catch. We'll do that later on, and that will gives us, will store in connection interface variable. So we have created the con object, so we have to import this connection from java.sql. So this is done. Now next thing what we need to do, system.out.println, we write one statement again over here, like db connection successful, right? When we enter the username, when we navigate to the db URL, entering username and password, so that we can simply write like this. And what we'll do now, let's surround this with try catch. Surround with try catch, and what we are going to do here is, this is fine, let's remove this one. Catch blog, here we have written, and we can write proper print statement over here as well, like error while establishing the connection, db connection. Now what we'll do, let's change the, instead of white, what we'll what we'll write, will return the object of connection. So we'll change it to the return type to connection, and simply we have to add the return statement. So simply we'll return this connection object. So here what we'll do, we need to got it from here, we have to return it over here, and here we'll return null, right, in case if you are not able to make the connection. So this is how you can write, guys. So our db connection method is done, guys. So to make the connection with database, so we have written one method called get db connection. Right now let's write another method to get the data from the database. So what we'll do, we'll write one method, public static void get employee details, and what we'll do, we'll pass employee ID. So when we write the query, so that we can simply pass employee ID as parameter, right? So this is how we can do. And let's change the return type of this one to map, so that we can store the values in key value pair. So I'll use key as string data type and value as well. So let's say if you get the data from the database like first name, right? So we'll have the key like first name and corresponding value like Hitendra, employee name, right? So that's how we are going to store in map interface, in hash map in fact. So simply I have to import this map from java.util, the reference of map interface, right? So we'll have the return type of this, and later on what we'll do here, let's write the query. And yes, and if you see, we have already written the query over here, guys. Select employee first name, middle name, last name from this employee table where employee ID is equal to 3, right? So simply I can copy this entire query and we'll put it over here. And instead of hard coding here employee ID, what we'll do, simply we'll pass the employee ID here, correct? We can do like this. And later on what we'll do, we need to store the values that get employee details into map, right? So what we'll do, we need to create the object of hash map interface, correct? So this is how we can do. And what we'll do here, we have to import this hash map from java.util, and here we have to have the reference of map interface and string like this data type, and we have to give the variable name employee details, like this we can write. Later on what we'll do, we need to create 3 objects, right, to make the connection already done, to write the query to and to make the statement to execute the query. We need to have 3 objects. So what we'll do, if you remember, we have created try with resources statement, so we'll use the same way, like try with resources. Inside that we'll create the different objects. So what we'll do, we'll create one connection object, right? So like this we can do, and we'll call the method from the above which we have written, get db connection, right? So first of all we need to make the connection. Before writing the query we need to make the connection. Simply we'll call this method from above and have the reference of this connection interface, right? So this is how we can do. Another things which we need to do, we have to create the statement, right? So what we'll do, we have a method, we can use this variable, and dot create statement is there, create statement. Using that we can create the execute the query, correct? So that will give us the statement reference variable, so we can store in state reference variable. So what we'll do, statement like this we can give, and we have to import this statement from java.sql. And the last one we have to do, what we need to do, we have to execute the query, right? So and store in result set. So simply we can call one method execute query, correct? And query will pass as parameter over here, and what we'll do, we'll store in result set reference variable, and I'll give rs. So we have to import the result set from java.sql. So this is done, guys, and let's write. So throws declaration and catch block. So catch block will write later on. So this is try with resources which we have written. like we have created three objects: connection, statement, and rs. So this will store the result of the query. Okay, and here what we'll write, let's write one print statement. So here we can say executing query, and here we'll pass the query, right, query, which we can simply print the statement like executing the query. After this statement our query will be getting executed, and later on what we'll do to store the values in the map, we need to iterate one by one, right? So what we'll do, rs dot next, and here what we'll do, we need to store all the values into map. So first of all we need to get the result, right? Rs dot, using this object, rs object will get the result. So we have method called get string, and here will give the what is the first name, employee first name, and here we need to store that into variable string, let's say first name. Like that we can do. Similarly for the middle name and last name as well. So simply I'll copy paste from here for the middle name, and I'll change it to middle name, and similarly for the last name as well. Here also I'll change it to last name. So we'll create three variables to get the data from the from the query, like employee first name, middle name, and last name. And later on what we'll do, so this is our if statement, guys, and later on we need to store in map. So store in a map. Now how to store? So we already have this variable over here, employee details, which we have created. So simply we have one method, put method, right, to store the values in put. So in the map, so first name, so key value pair we need to insert. So simply I'll give what I'll give key like first name only, and here we'll provide the value which we get from the database, first name, correct. And similarly we have to store the other values as well for last name, middle name, and last name. So make sure whatever you can change this to any other name as well, like first underscore name or like that, the key, and this is the value, whatever values which we are getting from the get string method, right, with the result set object. So this is how you can store the values in map. And later on what we'll do, simply after this we'll write, let's say query executed successfully, right, we can write like this. And later on in this if statement, this is our if statement, and I'll write else part. Here what we'll do, system.out.println, and here, and let's write one more statement over here, guys, like employee data fetched, employee data fetched, right. And here what we'll write, in case if you are not able to do that, then what we'll write, employees not found, employee not found, like that we can write inside else statement. And then what we'll do, we have to write the catch block. here, right? So this is for the entire try block which we have written, right? So catch block will come over here, and inside that here we'll write let's write exception and store that, right? Catch it. So simply I'll write system.out.println, and simply I'll put one statement like error while executing query, right? Like this we can write, and simply after that e dot print stack trash, we can print the error, and here after this block we simply return the value, correct? So return, so this is the entire the method block. So here we'll write the return statement employee details. So this is the variable which we have where we store the values in the map interface, right? So this is how you can write the employee details, get employee details method, guys. And here let me write one comment like get the employee details from database and store in a map. Control Shift F. So this is how you can write both the methods. One is DB connection and another one is to get the database the data from the employee table. Let me quickly review this class, guys. So DB connection we have created, and inside that we have created couple of methods. Get DB connection to make the connection, and here we have get employee details to get the records from the database, right? And when we print this employee data fetched, what we can do here, we can simply print all those employee details. So like this we can do. And one more thing we can do here is some employee doesn't have the middle name, right? So what we'll do, we can use the ternary operator using which we can check the null values. So if middle name is not equal to null, then what we can do, we can print the middle name colon blank. So in case if we don't have middle name, then it will simply print the middle name, otherwise it will print the blank value, right? It will print the blank. Let's don't give the space, this is fine. So simply we'll print the middle name. So this is how we can do. So this is done. Now what is the next step? So database configuration is done, and we have created the DB connection class. Now let's talk about this one, implementing page class for UI verification, right? So if I go to Orange HRM, here what we'll do, we need to create the page objects, right? So first we need to log into the application, and we have to navigate to this PIM tab, and here we have to search the employee, right? And we'll get the employee details over here by clicking on the search button. So let's write the UI locators and everything like action related methods. So what I'll do, those are all related with page objects, right? And that will come under home page. So we can go to this com.orangehrm.pages and homepage.java will open, and here we'll write all the locators. So private PIM tab, right? We have PIM tab by dot XPath. Let's go to the, let's inspect this one, PIM tab, and here we have, what do we have? PIM text is there, so simply we can write under this is under span tag, right? So Control F and span text is equal to PIM. Like this we can write the XPath for this one. So we got here one of one element, so simply copy it and put it over here. This is done. So next what we are going to write, so private employee search, right? So here we need to put the, after that we need to, when you go to the PIM tab, so we need to enter the employee over here, right? So for that we need to inspect this one. So we have type for hints, we can take this one, this text. Apart from that, what we can do, we can get this employee name, so let me see how is the hierarchy. Employee name is there and type for hints is over here. So we can go to this one and from there we can come to this. Yeah, so we can use this type for hints, but let's see. So label, we can go to the first one, label, and then text we can say like employee name. So we'll go to that one, the above one element, employee name. After that we can switch to this one, right? So how to do that? So where we are right now here, so after that we can go to the parent element, this dev element, and from there so we can use XPath access parent / parent and then that div, right? That div we can go, and after that we can use following sibling colon div. Why it is not showing here? After coming here, what we'll do, these are all inside div, right? So we can do like this, we can come to this div. So here what will give, parent colon div following sibling div. Yeah, so we can come to this one, and from there here we can simply switch to div like this, and so we got this, but we need to switch one more, right? Div. So what we can do here, we can simply give the tag, input tag. So like that you can see guys, you can use XPath access, and you can use this one as well, placeholder. Maybe you can try this, but let me copy this one for now. We can modify this one as well, so later on, but that's fine. I think this is unique one, so we can copy this XPath, the semicolon over here. Now what we need to do next is search button, right? Next what we have, search button, this search button. So simply click on this and see we have button tag. So this will be easy. So / button, we have 20 buttons in this page. So what we'll do, type is equal to, let's see what we have, submit, right? So type is equal to submit, we can give like this. So you can identify one of one here, so simply copy this and put inside our, so we'll create another locator, private by I would say search button by dot XPath. I'll put the XPath over here. So this is done guys. Now next is, after that what we need to do, after putting the first name, right? So what we'll do, let's say I'll put Hitendra over here and enter. We got the result over here. Now we have to, or let's say we want this one, Robinson one, so that we'll get the middle name. So now you can see here middle name is coming over here, right? First name, middle name. So let's inspect this one, Robinson, first name and middle name, right? So what we'll do, this one, so how to do this? So probably we have to take this one, right? Let's write the XPath for this one, private by employee first and middle name by dot XPath. And what we'll do here, we'll use the class, right? So Control F, what is the, one second, Robinson, right? So it will come under div, so // div, we can give like this @ class. What is the class we have? We'll go to this top one, that the table which we have, @ class is equal to oxt table. So we got the class over here, class name, right? And after that what we'll do, it is completely selected the table, right? And after that what we'll do, we'll go to the next div and another div, and I think we need to switch to one more div, correct? And after that simply we'll give what is the third or fourth, not like that, I think third one, we have to remove one div, like this, right? So this is how you can inspect this one, guys, first name and middle name. So what we have done, we have to go to the top one, like table one, what is the class, and after that we switch to two divs. So this is the third one, so if I put one, so you'll get the first one, the checkbox, the second one would be the ID, and third one is the first name and middle name. So we can copy this one, this is fine. So simply I'll put the XPath over here. You can practice and you can write your own XPath as well. So let's try another one. What we need to do right now, the last name, right? Employee last name as well, we need last name by dot XPath. And here what we'll put, what we'll write over here, so simply inspect the last name. And similarly we need to do this one as well. So we have what we have here, table card we have. So let's try the, if I put 4 over here, one second guys, if I put 4, then it will show me the last name, right? So we can copy this one as well, this one is also, this will work. So simply copy this one and put it over here. So I think all our locators are done. So we need to switch to PIM, we need to navigate to the PIM tab, and after that employee search, click on search button, employee first name, and this is how we'll get the employee last name. So now it's done. Now what we'll do, we'll write some action related methods. So what is the first method we need to write here? Let's write over here. So I'll say like method to navigate to PIM tab, right? We'll write the method over here. So public void click on PIM tab, like this we can write, and simply we'll call action driver dot click. From the action driver we have click method, so admin tab, not admin tab, we have to give PIM tab. What is the variable we have written, like locator PIM tab, simply put the PIM tab over here. So this is done. So click on PIM tab. Next one is employee search. Employee search. So for that also we need to write the method. So public void employee search method we can write, and inside that what we'll do, we'll pass the value. So we'll take one parameter, string parameter, string value, and here what we'll do, action driver dot enter text, and where we need to enter the text, employee search, and here we'll pass the value. So this is how we can write. And after that, action driver dot click on search button, right? So search button we can select, and action driver. After that what we'll do, we can after that we'll scroll it, right? We'll scroll to the, because when you enter Robinson over here, so you have to click on search, and after that you have to scroll down to see this result. So if you remember, we have written one scroll method as well, scroll to element, and here what we'll do, scroll to which element, employee first name and middle name, we can give like this, correct? Scroll to element, and here you can see guys, we have already written while talking about the action driver class, we have already written one method called scroll to element. We haven't used it till now, but this is the method which we have written. So it will go to that particular element whatever we have given over here, employee first name and middle name, right? On the screen you can see it will scroll to this element. So this is fine. So this is the JavaScript which we have written here. Instead of comma it should be like dot. So this is the correction guys, I made it on this scroll to element like dot. I have added earlier by mistakenly, I think I have added I have written comma. So instead of comma it should be like dot scroll into view true. So other than that I think all good, so we can just save it. Coming back to this home page, so this is how you can write. So I think this is done. Now let's write another methods. So we'll write verify employee first and middle name, right? So how to verify this one? So we'll write public void verify employee first and middle name, like this we can write, correct? Another action method. So when you get the first name and last name, so you simply we need to write one verification method, so that we can call that method from our test class when we write the test case, right? So this is how we can write verify employee first name and middle name. And here what we'll do, action driver dot, we have already written the method compare text in our action driver, right? You can see we have already written compare text, so we can call that method. And here what we'll do, let's pass one parameter, string, what we can say, employee first and middle name from database, from DB. Okay, so we'll copy this and we'll put it over here. So it will take two things. One is we'll take this one, employee first name and middle name, the locator, and another one, what is the expected outcome. So whatever data we'll get from the database, that will match with the this one, the locator, right? And internally we'll have, when you see this compare text, internally we'll call this get text method. So we'll get the value, right, of this locator, of this element, so that we can easily compare. And what we'll do here, let's, the compare text is boolean, right? So let's change the return type also. So simply I'll say like return, and we'll change the return type to boolean. So like this we can do. And similarly we can write for last name as well, guys. So we'll verify separately, because first name and middle name we have together, and last name is we have in different column, right? So this is how we can do. And here, instead of employee last name, like this we can give. And here also we can make the changes, employee last name from DB, and here we'll simply put the this one, employee last name, over here. And this one to change like this. So I think this is done, guys. So this is how you can implement your, you can update your home page for the new elements whatever we are using for this test, right? First navigate to this PIM tab, and then we have this employee information where we'll search for employee. Click on search, and when you get the record, you'll just verify it, right? So we can write two verification method, so that we can call them using our test class. So this is done. Now let's have a look, guys, what is the next step, right? So we'll go back to the PPT, and here we have written one step, implementing DB verification test, right? So we need to start writing the test case. So what we'll do, we have src test java. Here we have different test cases. So here I'll create one test case, test class. So I would say DB verification test. Okay, DB verification test. Click on finish, and simply whatever we have written, like login page test, we have to write like that, right? So before that, what we'll do, extends base class, right? DB verification test extends base class. So simply we have to import base class from com.orangesrm.base. And what we'll do, we need to create those two variables, login page and home page objects. And we'll create one method as well, setup pages. So this will be the same. So simply I'll copy this one and I'll put it over here, right? What we have done, we have created two reference variable of our login page and home page, because we are going to call login method and home page related methods as well. So that's how we have written. And setup pages, we have created the objects of those pages, so that we can, like, this is for initialization of those pages, right? And that will keep inside the before method. And what we'll do after that, we need to just simply write the test case, right? So what we'll do here, we'll write public void, we can say verify employee from DB, employee name from database, right? So this is how we can do. And here what we'll do, we'll start with extent manager dot log step, and here we'll say the first thing is logging with admin credentials, correct? So login with admin credentials or credentials, that is fine. And here what will say, like login page, we have login page object dot, we'll call the method login method, and here we'll pass username and password, right? So what we'll do here, we'll pass the username and password, and let's pass this from our config.properties, right? So where we have config.properties test resources, we can parameterize that one as well using data provider. So that is another way. So here I'll just change the value. I have username like orangehrm underscore h Verma, that I'll put, and I'll put the password over here. And let's use these credentials to call over here, right? So system dot get property, in fact we have to use prop, right? Prop dot get property, and here we'll pass those values like username and password. Username, and similarly we'll do for this one as well, prop dot get property, password, like this you can do. And after that what we'll do, extent manager log step, and here what we'll write, click on PIM tab, right? Next step would be like this. So we have already written the method after logging to the page in the application. After that we'll land on the home page, and there we'll call click on PIM tab. So this is done. Next thing what we're going to do, extent manager dot log step, and here we'll do search for employee, correct? And similarly from the home page object, home page dot employee search we have, and here we have to pass the value. So let me just hard code this one right now. Robinson we are going to search, right? Later on we'll parameterize using data provider. So this is done, guys. And after that what we'll do, we'll write another extent manager dot log step. If you haven't gone through this one, like if you don't get this one, like extent manager, why we are using this one. So this is for the extent report, right? Extent manager dot log step, we have written different methods to log into our reports, right? So that's the reason I'm calling using this object extend using this class extend manager dot different step, like we have log step, and here we are providing the different steps, right? Get the employee name from database. So here what we'll do, we'll get the data from the database, and later on we'll compare, right? So what we'll do here, I'll put a string employee ID is equal to, I'll pass the employee ID as well. So for Robinson we have employee ID as 3, right? So let me show you again, password at the rate. So if you come over here, PIM tab, and if you see all the employees over here, so Robinson employee ID is 3. So that's why I have given, right now I have hard coded this one. Later on we'll parameterize using data provider. So this is done, guys. Now next what we'll do, fetch the data, fetch the details, employee details, fetch the data into a map. So we have already created map, right? So to get the data also we need to create the reference variable of map over here. So what we'll do, So we have already created the method get employee details over here, and that is static, so we can call it using class name dot get employee details, right? And here we'll pass the employee ID. This is how we can do, and we'll store that into map interface reference variable string comma string, and here I'll give employee details. Correct, this is done, and we have to import map as well. So this is done. So what we will do next, we have to get the data. Once we have the data here, so we need to get the data as well. So what we'll do, we have get method here, and here what we'll give, so whatever keys we have stored already in our DB connection, you can see these are the keys we have stored, right? So we'll simply put it over here to get the first name, similarly for the middle name and last name. So what we'll do, simply we'll copy it from here, middle name, so make sure there is no mismatch, last name as well, like this, and let's store them in string variable, string employee first name, and here string employee middle name, and here we'll write another variable, string employee last name, like this we can give. And what we'll do next, now what we'll do, we have to verify the first name and last name in a single verification, right? Here you can see Robinson HH is coming, so we'll concatenate first name and last name. So string, I would say employee first and last name, like this we can give, and here we'll concatenate employee first name plus last name, right? And what we'll do here, we should give the space, and here put the semicolon, and here what we'll do, here we'll put this space between the first name and last name. And one more thing we need to do, guys, in case if we don't have middle name, right? Sorry, not last name, we should have the middle name over here. We are concatenating first name and, sorry, there should be middle name. Yeah, concatenating first name and middle name, because on the UI we have together Robinson HH, right? So that's the reason we are concatenating first name and middle name, and we should give the space as well. You can see we have space over here. And another thing is, like, let's say if you don't get the middle name, if it is null, then what we'll do, we'll simply trim whatever blank space will be there. So simply we'll call this trim method over here at the last, in case if we don't get middle name, so this space will be counted, right, with the first name. So what we'll do, we'll just trim it. So like that we can do. And here what we'll do, extend manager, we'll write another step, log step, and here what we'll say, verify the employee first and middle name. Let's verify it first. So how to do that, we'll use assert dot assert true, assert true, guys, assert true, and here we'll call the method which we have already written inside our home page, right? So what is the method to verify the first and middle name? So here we'll call that method. So home page object dot employee first name middle name, and here we'll pass the this one which we are getting from database, right? Employee first name and middle name. So like that we can give, and comma we can put the message as well, first and middle name are not matching in case if it is false, right? First and middle name are not matching, like that we can give the message over there. So what is the next step? Extent manager dot log step, and here verify the employee last name. Here we'll verify the last name, so assert dot assert true, and here we'll call home page dot verify employee last name. Like this we can give, and here we'll pass the employee last name from the one which we get from the database. So this is how we can do. So I think all things are done, guys, here. And what we'll do here, we can write one more extent manager log step database validation completed. Like this we can give. Yeah, so this is what we can write, verify employee name from database, or we can say verify employee verification name verification from database. Okay, so here we have to add the @test. So simply we need to import this. Now this is fine, guys, everything looks good. And now let's run this test. So simply I'll copy this one, and where is our test ng? Inside src test resources. And what we'll do here, we have to call one more, or what we'll do, simply I'll remove it for now, and I'll put one test case only, like this employee verification test. So what I'll do, I'll put it over here. So let's see whether it is working fine or not first, right? So we can put our the latest case DB verification test. So everything looks good. Let me run it, whether it is working fine or not. So run as test ng suite. Browser is launched, and it will navigate to, it is logging into the application. So it navigated to PIM tab, searching the employee. Now you can see, guys, everything looks perfect, right? So this is how you can verify the data from the database. And here you can see the log as well, starting DB connection, and after that DB connection successful, right? Executing query, this is the query which we have written, correct? And later on query executed successfully. And here you can see the data which we got. Employee data fetched Robinson 1 Lamb and HH, middle name, first name, last name, and middle name, right? And here we got one test case, one is passed. Let's have a look the reports. So let me refresh it first. Let's have a look the report as well. So right click to the extent report and open with web browser, and here you will see all the logs properly. It is logging over here, right? And here you can see we have two verification point, right? Compare text, like text verified successfully Robinson HH equals to Robinson HH. So you can see it is coming correctly over here. Now the second thing is compare text for the last name. So you can see Robinson Lamb, this one, right? Lamb. So that is also looking good, and test passed successfully. This is the final screenshot, and here you can see test and employee verification name from DB test pass, and DB validation completed, right? So everything looks good. What we can do right now, let's parameterize using the like parameterization last time we have done, right? What you can say, using data provider, right? So let's do it. So how we have done using login page test, in the similar way we can do it for this one as well. So what I'll do, I'll go to the test data first, and there what I can say, right click and properties, open that. So here what we'll do, here I'll write one more, I'll add one more sheet, and here I'll say like employee verification data, guys. So I'll add one column, one worksheet, employee verification, and here what we'll do, I'll pass employee ID and employee name, emp name will pass. Okay, so we'll pass two data over here, employee ID and employee name. The one which we are doing through front end, we'll do it through parameterization, right? We have hard coded earlier. Now what we'll do, simply close this one, and simply I have to go to the data provider. So here we have written the data provider like this, so I'll write one more data provider over here, and I'll say employee verification like this we can give. And sheet data, what is the sheet data we have? We have to give the proper sheet data over here like this, and here also we can give like this, employee verification. Yeah, so this is how you can give. And what else we need to do, we have to just go to the DB verification test. So similarly to the how we have provided the data to login test, right? So similarly we need to just call this, we need to copy this and put inside our DB verification in our test method like this. Instead of this data provider, we have to give the exact data provider. What data provider we have? Employee verification data provider. Here we have, simply pass this to our, and rest of the things will be the same, like data provider class, data providers dot class. This is our data providers class name, and here simply I'll pass string employee ID comma string, what you can say, employee name. So this you can give any name, and from here I'll, what we can say, employee ID we can simply put over here like this, we can pass, and employee name as well, employee name over here like this. So this is also parameterized now, so everything looks good. Let me save it, everything. Now what we'll do, we'll put the employee ID over here, like what is the employee ID which we are going to verify, and here I'll put the name of the employee like Hitendra. Let's verify the first employee, and simply I'll close this one Excel sheet. Now let me rerun it whether it is working fine or not. And we just remember, I don't have the middle name, right? So let's see whether it is working fine or not. So right click and run as test in this suite. Browser is launched and it will log in into the application. Go to the PIM tab, search with Hitendra, and you can see it is perfectly working fine using parameterization as well. And we have used this time first name and last name, right? first name Hitendra and Verma, and middle name is blank. So this is how you can do, guys, database verification using Selenium. So we have covered everything in today's session about the database testing, right? So in the next part I'll talk about how we can add the API test cases in our framework. So this is all for today, guys, and let me know if you have any question related to today's implementation, what we have done so far. So thank you for watching, have a nice day, and if you're new to this channel then please subscribe it so that I can come up with some similar interesting videos. Thank you so much, have a nice day, bye bye.